Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Palaces of Carrara. Let's check it out. To set up for this game, each player is going to get their own little player board. They're going to get 20 coins from 5s, 10s, and 1s, as shown there. They're each going to get their own little awesome player shield. This player shield looks like a nice little building here with a marble interior. Ooh, so nice, so pretty. You're also going to give, the first player is going to get a black brick, second player is going to get a blue brick, third player is going to get a green brick, and fourth player is going to get a red brick. Those are just nicer bricks. So the players going later on will get one nice brick to start off with, where player one will get the cheapest brick. Also, you got this worthless first player marker that you can hold on and look at, and that's about it. Each player will also have these little round trackers, so if they cross the 50, they can put this out in front of them. If they cross it again, they can flip it over to 100 points there. They'll also get 6 of these little player pawns. These represent the king. They'll put them over here to the side. They also have another pawn they'll put as their score tracker. You're going to have a bunch of nice little wooden bits over there in a pile. You're going to have your game-ending conditions here. Now, I should mention that the game does come with a deck of cards that lets you change those conditions, the first, the second, or even the third. So you can have a million different ways to end this game, putting out 1 or 2 or all 3 different winning conditions in the game. Also, there is an extra space here if you want to deal out one of these cards for game-ending scoring points, and the instructions will tell you what each one of these do. This one lets you score victory points determining on who has the most buildings in those areas. So you could place it there if you wanted to. And again, lots of playability here because there's different game-ending conditions as well, or score-ending conditions, I should say. Another thing that you'll do is you'll place all your buildings out here, put a stack of buildings here, put one of each brick resource here. There are 6 brick resources. Put them here on this little wheel here. You're also going to have a bag full of other pieces you're going to draw from later on in the game. And right here to the side, this is a little mini expansion, which I'll explain, but I think you should always put this in this game because it's really awesome. So what you do on your turn, you have 3, and count them, only 3 actions. The first action is to buy bricks. Now, when you buy bricks, you can do one of 2 things. You can either rotate this wheel or not rotate the wheel and then buy bricks from it. So for instance, if you wanted to rotate the wheel, you'd rotate it according to the arrow clockwise, that way, and then you would buy bricks. Now in this case, as you see, the bricks just get cheaper every time you turn the wheel. In this case, if I wanted this black one, it would cost me nothing. But maybe I wanted to get the black and the blue, which would cost me 1 coin. So I take the black and the blue, put them behind my player shield, and then I'd pay my 1 coin to the bank for it. And then, of course, I would refill this wheel. Now, after the first play, you have to refill it every time to 11. So I have 4 there. I need to fill out 7 more. So I'd grab 7 more random cubes from the bag there and place them right there. Now, the next player, what they would do, they could just buy one outright if they wanted to. So let's say they just wanted to buy this one for green for 2. If they did that and didn't rotate the wheel, they would not have to refill it to 11. But in this case, if they did, they'd rotate it, and now things got cheaper again. Now, I should mention this. You cannot buy from 2 different quadrants. For instance, here, blue is worth 1, and green is worth 2. Here, green is worth 1, and red is worth 2. So if I wanted, could I buy this one for 1 and this one for 1? No, I could not. I can only buy from 1 quadrant. You don't have to buy all the bricks there. You can but you do have to buy from only one of those quadrants. You can't split it and buy between the both of them. Now, that's one action, is buying. The other action is building. So with all these bricks you are collecting, you can decide to purchase one of these little tiles. And the little number on the corner will tell you how many bricks you have to use of any color to build that particular building. If you look at them, and they range from 1 to 5 here. And of course you get some special buildings that are an 8, which I'll get to in a minute. Now, how you build buildings is you can build them on top. You put the tiles on top of any of these cities. Now, determine what color bricks you use determines where you can build. For instance, this little city, the black city, they'll take any cubes. They are not particular. So any colors you want to build here, you can build here. Now, blue, they'll take anything but black bricks. Green will take anything but blue and black, and as you see, so on and so forth, where it gets all the way up to white, which will only accept white bricks and nothing else. So determine what bricks you are spending, that determines the city you can build it in. So if I wanted to, let's say, I was building some things here, and I wanted to build this place, I could build it here, and then maybe on the next turn, build here, and so on and so forth. And if you build on multiple turns, you can do it there as well. So your board may look somewhat similar to that. You know, you may have things scattered all over the place here, okay? But you just build on top of that city when you're building. So that's your second type of action. Your third type of action is scoring victory points. And how to do that is you have to call the king. And when you call the king, you can determine what he is going to grade you on by several different ways. The first way, and I have to bring this player board up for you to show it, is you can place your king's pawn on any one of these squares here, and he will grade you by the symbol that you see here. And this determines the different types of buildings there are in the game. But you can also see, just not by the picture, but you can also see by the actual symbol is how he'll grade you. So for instance, let's say, and I'm going to put these back, I think this is where I had it, he's going to grade from this little emblem, the little commandment emblem, let's say. All right, so he places his pawn there. Now, he gets to score anything with that symbol. And as you see, I have 1, 2, 3 of those symbols there. So what it means is, let's see, I would get nothing here since that's not the right emblem. This emblem is right here, so this is a times 2. 2 times the number of bricks it took me was 2, would be 4. So I get 4 victory points right there, and I'd move up on the board 4 victory points. Now, this one, the green city, gives me coin. I don't count this one because that's not the right emblem. This one I do count, and it's only a 1, so that would give me 2 coin. I grab 2 coin from the bank. This one, the blue one, gives me, I can't count this one, but I can count this one. It gives me 1 victory point for every block I have. I had 4, so I would get an additional 4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, for that one there. And that's how you can score. Now, once you score, that king's pawn stays there, and you may not play any more pawns and score that condition again. You have to score a different symbol. There are things you can also do. You can score all the oranges here, and all the orange buildings can score you 1 coin per brick. So if I was to do that and place, let's say I place another king later on here, then I'd score all my orange ones and get coins for the number of bricks I played on them. Same thing with green, but instead of coins, it is victory points. I'd get 1 victory point for every green I'd have, which probably wouldn't be a good option right now, but later on, if I get some more green buildings, I may want to play it there and grab some victory points. Now, another way that you can score buildings, and let me change things up here, just put it here, is you can score, and let's say I have these 2 already here, you can score one of the cities. So for instance, I got a lot going on in the blue city right now. Maybe I want to score the blue city. So on my turn, I'll place my player pawn in the blue city. Now once you do that, you score everything in the blue city. And if another player wanted to score blue, they could not. It's first come, first serve at any of these areas. The only condition is you must have X amount of buildings there to score it. So I had to have at least 3 here in blue to score blue, and it shows you that on the board. But anyway, in that case, I get 1 victory point for all of these. That's 10 more victory points. Woohoo! So really moving around the board here. But that's how you can score. And as you see here, you can only score 6 times in the game. Score and get coins, because you will run out of money after buying so many bricks. So what players are going to be doing is buying bricks, building buildings, and by the way, whenever you build out a building, you replace it with another one from the stack right there. And of course, you're going to be bringing in the king to score. Now, just real quick, the little mini expansion here will also, and I forgot to mention something else, when you're scoring these buildings here, I'm sorry, all over the place today, when you're scoring these buildings here, you will also get tokens, the little wooden tokens associated to those buildings. So earlier, when I scored the commandment tokens, I had 1, 2, 3. So I would take 3 commandment tokens from the stack and put them behind my player shield. These can count as either in-game conditions or maybe in scoring conditions, depending on which kind of card or scenario you are playing with. But that's how you get these wooden tokens here. You can also, after scoring, you can buy any of them, it says, for $10. Kind of expensive, but maybe you need, one of each to end the game. And so maybe you just buy another one for $10 just to get that extra one you need. So back to this mini expansion. How this works is you can pay 8 bricks of any type and get one of these big buildings. Now when you do that, of course 8's huge and you can place it anywhere on the board where you have that colored brick there that you're using. Once you do that, you can get one of these upgrades. These will upgrade, if you can take one of these, that will upgrade a particular city. So if you have a city that, instead of let's say blue, instead of getting a ×1, I can put this over it, and now, from now on, if I ever score blue or anything, it's going to give me a ×2. And every time you build an 8 building, you will get one of these. Now there are more of the rewards than there are buildings. There's only 6 buildings, and once they're gone, they're gone. So if you need to get them fast, you need to get them quick, but you need to also know which city you may be building a lot in first. But they're all city upgrades, except for these 2. These are like little scoring upgrades here. Instead of getting 1 coin for every orange building, if you had this one, you would get 2 coins for every orange building. Instead of getting 1 victory point for every green building, you would get 2 victory points for the number of bricks that you spent in your city. Those are the upgrades that you can get only if you build on an 8 brick one. Now, at the end of the game ends 2 ways. A, either someone meets all 3 conditions here and the game ends instantly, or the last building has been sold. If any of that happens, then you go to final scoring. Final scoring is any of the victory points that are on any of these cards, either cards that you put out on the player board here or the ones on the board. And then if you put an extra card here, whatever the game ending points are there. And of course, the person with the most points wins. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, it's pretty awesome. Very simple, fast to play, and super fun. Now, I have, I think, the German edition. There is, by Z-Man Games, there is a English edition, but it's super hard and super expensive. Yes, unfortunately, this game is out of print. Boo-hoo. I hate that. I was looking on Board Game Geek, look at one of the auctions, saw this game, was like, that looks interesting. What's it about? By the time it took me to look into what the game was like, someone had bought it instantly. They binned it, bought it now. I was like, oh, dadgummit. Well, then later, I just gave up on it. Well, then later on, I started thinking, well, let me look into it a little bit more. And at that time, someone actually put this game up for a very cheap price, and so I got it. So every once in a while, you may find it at a good price. Now, should you get it? Well, I don't know. At the prices they're going for now, it's probably a little bit more expensive than what I usually pay for. However, it is a fast, light, easy, super fun game. Super fun game. Deciding when to score your king. You only got 6 points. You only get 6 times you can score, but sometimes you want to score early. Meaning, the first few rounds, everyone's buying bricks, and then eventually someone starts buying buildings, and that causes a big buy because everyone's been storing up bricks, and now they got to spend it. But you got to kind of balance both. That first person to buy that building, it cascades where everyone starts buying buildings. They're like, oh gosh, here come the buildings. I need to get buildings too. Because there's a limited supply of buildings and a limited supply of bricks. The first time we played, I think everyone had so many bricks. We just bought out all the bricks and there were no other bricks in the bag. I was like, oh dang, now what are we going to do? My one complaint on the bricks is the white brick is not a brick, it's a little cube. And so in the bag, you can feel what that is. So maybe you don't want someone else to get the white cube, so you avoid those. Or you really want white cubes, so you fill in your hand to fill one, then you bring those out on purpose. I saw some guy bring out like 4 white cubes because he needed it and he had the money. I was like, I don't know what I'll do about that. I think that can be easily resolved. Maybe I can just get some, cheap wooden cubes and make them all cubes, or maybe get some white bricks, whatever it is. Make them all of general one resource and play it that way. That may be a little bit better. That's my only complaint about this game. Everything else is perfect about this game. I absolutely love this game. You find it for cheap. I think it's something you may like as well. Like I said, the balance of that, knowing which, and always play with the mini expansion. Always play with it, because getting those special abilities, that saved, the first game we played, I picked up the wrong type. I said, ooh, this will be very good, but I hardly built any buildings in that city. I just wasn't thinking right. I said, oh, I shouldn't have gotten that one. And my buddy had a cheap one, upgrade, but he built everything in the cheap city and got multiple points for it. I was like, That's actually pretty smart, you know. So it does depend, you know, finding that balance between buying the bricks and getting the buildings and scoring. A lot of times you may want to score in a regular game. You score 4 times and you meet the other win conditions. That could end the game soon before anyone else can get ahead. I ended the game a little too soon once because I did my last move. I said, I ended the game. I scored before he did. And I was like, yes! In-game points came, and I totally didn't read the bottom card where he demolished me in points. I was like, oh no, I forgot about that. But we laughed and had a great time. This is a fantastic game. If you find it for a good deal, folks, it is well worth your time. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.